Welcome back to another uh, live arts party fun at home. I hope you guys have been enjoying the series so far. We've been doing our best to try to keep you guys occupied and entertained. Everything's been really crazy lately, so a bit of fun is always good. So today we are going to be making CD wind chimes or wall hangings because they're so cute. You can have them inside or outside. And so what we're going to get started with is make sure you have all your supplies. So you're going to want to have a nice strong pair of scissors, a Sharpie, any color, does not matter, some twine, or you could use ribbon, you can use yarn, a little bit of sandpaper. If you don't have sandpaper, you can use a nail file. That's also a possibility. And CDs, of course, just old blank CDs. If they're like DVDs and have a movie on the back of, it's fine. It's, this is all for fun. A hot glue gun, hot glue, or we can also use E6000 epoxy. It's up to you. I know a lot of people don't have this. Is not a typical kind of thing that is just lying around the house. And again, with these hi April, with these projects, we want to make sure that you can do them with stuff you have around your house. So if you ever need suggestions on what type of items you could use as alternatives, let me know. You will also need a tub of hot water. So just got a little Tupperware, put some nice hot water in there. And we're just gonna soak our CDs for a few minutes. It's hot. To soften them up. So just grab 4 or 5 CDs and submerge them, and we'll put them aside for a little bit. You'll also need a little cloth to dry them off with. So there are a couple of different things you can make with this, and I'm going to leave that up to you guys. There's a few different patterns that you can do. I'm going to show you how to do a sun. So we'll take one CD right now, and I'm just going to, from the edge and halfway to the inner circle, make a triangle. Just like that. And I'm just going to go around and connect these triangles together. Now this can be themed. So like you can make a moon with stars. You can make a sun with butterflies, or whatever shape you want to cut out. You can do a cloud and raindrops. So that would be your sun. And you're going to want to just draw that with your Sharpie. Doesn't have to be perfect. They don't have to be exact. That's the sun. Now, what I think I'm going to do today is make a cloud with raindrops, because I love clouds and rain. So I'm just going to make a straight line right across, making sure that I don't go past that circle point. And then I'm going to do a couple humps. So we did this kind of simple little bump right here in the middle. Now the great thing about these is that I can use one CD to make 2 clouds. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. So I've got a cloud that I'm going to cut out on the top and a cloud that I will cut out on the bottom. So depending on what you prefer, I'll also show you how to make a moon. So with the moon, you're going to want to take a spare CD, and on the shiny side of the CD that you're going to cut, you are going to line up your other CD, and then we're just going to trace that line. So you're just going to go just like that, and then you get a crescent moon. Let me know if I'm going too fast, okay? Some people were saying that I was speeding along last time, so I'm going to attempt to slow down here. So as soon as you pick your shape, you're going to want to submerge that after you trace it out. Pick whichever one you decided you want to use. Then you're going to submerge that in your hot water. And we soak it in the hot water so that way when you cut it, it won't crack. It'll be much more pliable. So if you just started cutting at these, you're going to get shards and cracks in your plastic. So you just give that a few seconds. Be careful if the water is really hot. And kiddos, make sure that you have somebody there helping you. Okay. Once that's been in the water for a few seconds, you're going to take it off, towel it off a little bit, and then we can start cutting. So you're just going to cut out your shape. So just cutting along the lines that I drew with my Sharpie. So I got my little half right here. So just remember, these will be sharp after you cut them. So be very careful. Don't cut yourself. And if you got little kiddos doing this, then you definitely want to be the one cutting them. So I got my little cloud. Now you want to do the other side if you're doing clouds and you've made 2 clouds. If you're doing the sun, you're just going to want to keep on cutting out those little triangles. And I will cut out a couple of the triangles in a second. All right. And just snip, snip, snip. And you've got your clouds. They're really reflective, really pretty. They look great in the sun. Speaking of suns, if you're doing the sun, you're just gonna cut out all the triangles that you did. Just like that. And just cut them all around. Just keep cutting until you got a nice cute sun going. So I have an idea for a project that we'll probably do in the future that's going to include some of these. So if you do have space to hold on to your little scraps, you might want to do so, because I think we might try our hand at a mosaic project using old CDs. So just keep cutting, cutting, cutting until you get your sun shape. And for the moon is quite simple. It's just one nice cut. And so if you wanted, you could make yourself a really nice, elaborate wall hanging with the sun, a moon, and clouds. You know, just have at it. Use your imagination. Get creative. So I'm going to finish cutting this up. Now, if they do feel like they're starting to get a little rigid, you can put them back in the hot water so that way they soften up a little bit. And really try not to do this thing I do with my mouth when I cut. It's like that little call it my cutting face. So once all of that is cut, you have a beautiful little sun. So, like I said, if you want to save these little shards, definitely do it. We're going to make a mosaic a little bit down the road, and I think these are perfect for it because they are so reflective and just so beautiful. So those I'm putting to the side. Now, be very careful with your area. These little tiny flakes and shards that come off of it tend to be a little pokey, a little sharp, so make sure you clean those up nice and good. So you don't want to end up getting them all over your skin and stuff. It's not fun. I give everybody a second to finish up. So next thing we're going to do is dull any of the edges with sandpaper, or if you don't have sandpaper and all you have at home is like an emery board or something, a nail file, buffer, something like that, you can use those. They will work too. In fact, they actually might work better on some of these little ridges. So we're just going to take our sandpaper and dull the edges so that way there are no burrs. We don't want to get poked or stabbed by anything while we're working with these. So I'm just going in, almost like flossing them with the sandpaper, just to make sure that I get any burrs that are sticking out. See, so like that little one right there, you see it? Yeah, we don't want any of those. And it's strictly for safety. If you're going to be handling this, we don't want you to end up with anything stabbing you. Same thing with the moon. Just going to go around and make sure that we dull those sharp edges. Okay, so when you run your finger around it, it should be nice and dull, nothing pokey. Just anywhere that you cut, you're just going to want to sand it just a little bit. You don't have to sand it a lot. All right. So it's a nice, quick, easy sand. And then you can put your sandpaper aside. Again, make sure to clean up any of those little shards that came off of your CDs. Trust me, when those stick around, they get very pokey after a while. Hey guys, thank you for coming. A lot of new faces. So once everybody's done that, we're going to take a couple more CDs. And you've got options here. So I'm going to do raindrops for my project, but I will show you a couple of alternatives. So on another blank CD, you can do a raindrop, and the easiest way to make it so that way you don't have to cut as much is to just use that corner and just kind of loop it around. So you end up with a little drop. So it should be one nice round drop. Now, if you wanted to do the moon and stars, of course, you would just make yourself a nice little star. And so then you'd have to cut your star out. I'm all for less cuts, but if you really want to go with the stars and the moon, it makes a very beautiful little wall hanging. So you can do funky little stars. If you want to be exact, you can definitely get a ruler and do it that way. Now, the sun, if you wanted to do like a butterfly or something, you can do the same thing. Like I showed you last week, a butterfly, easiest way is to do a little squished heart. So you do a little squished heart, and then do another one on the opposite side. So then you would end up cutting all of these out. So I'm going to start with my little raindrops. This is where they get a little tough. They got a little raindrop. Now you can make yourself a pattern out of cardboard or something to, if you want them all to be symmetrical. I like kind of alternating my patterns so that each one is unique. want to cut everything out. So I'm going to cut everything out that I did here so you can see. Because again, we'd love for you to do these projects with your family and do them often. So I'd say, why not? If you have a bunch of CDs, make all 3 patterns. It's a great way to bring your family together. They really are very beautiful. And a funky little star. If you guys have any questions, let me know. It's a great part about doing this in real time. Hey, Megan. Another star. And so, whatever you have left, if you want to save it, go for it. And cut, cut, cut. And like I said, the more complicated your pattern, the more challenging the cut. But if you're up for it, go for it. And a butterfly. So same with these, just like the top part of your hangings, you will want to sand it to make sure that you do not have any burrs. Be careful, don't want to poke yourself, it's very sharp. I'm just going to sand all of these down. Mm-hmm. So give everybody a minute to do that. It's a little bit sharper than I'd like. Just sand all of your little patterns down. They tend to get everywhere. So be very careful. Okay. So once you've got everything sanded down, we are going to want to start gluing. So here comes the twine or yarn. You can get creative with it. Like I have this rainbow pattern yarn that would be perfect for a cloud and raindrops. Or you can make a rainbow out of the CDs. That's another alternative pattern. That would be great. But right now I have this beautiful little silver and black. And so what we're going to do is cut your strings. Cut about 3 of them. About a foot long. So what we're going to do is get our hot glue and our string. We're just going to glue it onto the back. So that way you will have have 3. I don't know if you can see, this is really reflecting the light. So you'll end up with strings that are hanging off of your dream catcher. So for what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to glue my clouds and my moon together. So that way I come up with a really cute pattern here. So I hope your glue gun is standing by and it's nice and hot. So whichever one you're using, whether you're going to use the sun or the moon, you're going to want to get them and glue them exactly the way you want them. So I've got that. And then I think what I'll do is with the second bit of cloud, I'm going to go up here on top. See that? So whatever shape you're using, whatever style you would like to make it, you think outside of the box, come up with a fun design, fun pattern. And so now for this one, what I think I'm going to do is add a string here, add a string here, and then add one at the far end. So you can use your E6000 adhesive. This is going to take longer to dry, of course, than your hot glue. So if that's all you have, it works. Remember that these videos, you can always go back and watch them. They're on our Facebook page, of course, and they're also on our YouTube channel, which is nmtpas@gmail.com. So what I've done is just put a little blob of glue, of hot glue, and laid my yarn right in that glue blob. So be careful, don't burn yourself too much. And just keep doing that. Find 3 spots on your mobile that looks like it would be fun to hang your other designs on. So I've got one that's high, one that's right in the middle, and then for the third one, I'm going to put it low. So I've got top one, that middle one, and then one towards the other end. So I ended up cutting out just those 5 shapes that I have, and that's what I'm going to use for this. Now you can take more CDs and cut as many shapes out as you would like, and you can just really add as much to this as you want. But because we are pressed for time, I'm going to just go with what I cut out. So along the string, you're going to want to kind of gauge and figure out where you want your little shapes. You know, whether you want them higher, lower, you can alternate. So I am going to do a raindrop, a star, and a raindrop. So you'll just put a nice little blob of hot glue on the back of one of your little shapes. And just run. So all I'm doing is pressing pressing the yarn right into that. Just like that. And next I'm going to do a star next on mine. So I'm just putting a dab of glue and then just pressing the yarn into that. You can see that. And we'll do another raindrop. A little higher up. Now, somebody had asked me if school glue would work. I'm not 100% that it would, especially if you're going to be hanging this outside. I think that you're wanting something that is a little more industrial for this. And there's that. And then I have one star left, so I'm going to put a star right in the middle. So super glue would work. E6000 glue works. It takes longer to dry, but it does work. And of course, hot glue works. So I don't know if you can see that. Let's see, I'm trying to block out the light. So you can just keep on going. If you wanted to, you can add more to your strings. You can, we have those shards that were left over. You can add a bunch running down all through your strings. That's another possibility. So just get creative with it. Like always, make it your own. Have fun with it. And for the top to hang it, you're going to want to get another bit of yarn, depending on how high or where you want to hang it will depend on how much you use. But you'll want to make sure that you glue this on the top so that way it can hang nicely wherever you decide to put it. And I got that right there. And this you'll really want to wait for it to dry. An alternative to this little yarn, if you wanted to really make it secure, you could poke a couple of holes in it. You'd want to use a heated, a heated soldering knife, something that might be able to burn through plastic with, poke through plastic without breaking it or cracking it. And then you could add a wire just to make it more secure. But that's it.